everyone, I'm Ayşe Gülistan, and this is Invest in Türkiye Talks. So what are we going to do throughout these series? We'll be talking everything related to investment, from FDI inflows to entrepreneurship, the investment infrastructure in Türkiye, and trends and challenges that sectors may face in the near future. In this series, we talk about the investment ecosystem in Türkiye and the latest developments with leading figures in the field. Today, I'm joined by Ahu Serter. Ahu, welcome to the podcast.
Hello, thank you.
Ahu is an investor and serial entrepreneur in innovation, disruption, mobility solutions, business strategy, art and women-led entrepreneurship. She is the founder of Fark Labs, F+ Ventures and Arya Women's investment platform, and she also serves on the board of many different organisations. This is a lot, Ahu. So before I start asking you about anything specific, where does this passion come from?
Well, women are so accustomed to multitasking. I guess I wanted to carry this over to my career. And it's really fun being able to perform many tasks together and getting the strength from one, using it to build another one and building a bridge amongst. I think this is one of the new talents this century requires, and I'm happy to have that.
Brilliant. Obviously, we know how much you do for female entrepreneurs in the country. So let's start with Arya Women's investment platform. What is the story behind Arya Women, its name and its founding story?
Yes, well, people would be familiar with the Game of Thrones and Arya Stark. So I had 2 daughters at that time. I was around 39, wasn't planning for another child. And I was looking at that little girl in the first episodes. Women are born that way, so strong, so resilient. And then what happens to us? That we lose this. And I said to myself, if I were to have another daughter, I would name her Arya. And that's how it started. And when I had my daughter, Arya, I named her, of course, Arya. And then I wanted to build a platform to leave a good legacy to my 3 daughters. And then I said, why do I need to limit it with my daughters only? So I wanted to build, taking off from my investment career, why don't I build a women investment platform and help create many areas of this world to transform the world through female leadership.
That's brilliant.
That's how it started.
And what gap does Arya Women fill in the ecosystem? When was it that you felt the need there should be a support mechanism like this for female entrepreneurs?
Well, at that time, the gap I was trying to fill was the access to capital for women. So we all are familiar with the numbers, the amount of capital that female entrepreneurs are able to reach. But then it started like this, so reaching to capital for females. But then I saw some other things, and then today we call it gender lens investing. So it's not on one side of the table. It's not about female entrepreneurs. It's also about female investors and female decision makers. So all the seats around the table needed to be filled with more women. And then it evolved kind of towards first a network of women around the world. We are more than 500 members who are learning about how to make investments, and then who already are knowledgeable about investing and then wants to take it further. And then we built an angel accredited investing network. And now we also have a VC fund. It is the first of its kind in this region. More than 15 corporations invested in the VC. Each bank led the LP tour, and now many banks are also investors. But moreover, more than 70 women. It has, as a fund, it has the most female investors, the region. And we are going strong to $25 million in closing.
Wow, that's
and
impressive.
We're only investing in companies with at least one female co-founder.
Brilliant. And obviously, you said already that you have 500 members from across the world within Arya Women. But when you compare the situation of female entrepreneurship in Türkiye to other countries, or the experience that they share with you, what would you have to say? Where do we stand in terms of that comparison?
Well, not good, I have to say. But the rest of the world is also not good either. So I wouldn't say that there is a big gap, because the gap already for women around the world is terrible. So, but what Turkey is different in terms of the outcomes, I think out of 7 unicorns that come out of Turkey, 4 are led by female founders.
Yeah.
So the success rate is quite high. And even with these low amounts of access to capital for female entrepreneurs, if we are to produce these good results, imagine what would we do with some more capital.
This is the highest in Europe, actually.
Yes.
50% of unicorns led by women.
Exactly. So Turkey is also a very good place for female entrepreneurs because our success is being acknowledged, I think. And I think it doesn't matter of the gender of the investor. Turkish women are also recognized for their ability in entrepreneurship. And it's a very good place to stand right now.
So moving on from Arya, because you also have other initiatives that you're the founder of, for example, Fark Labs and F Plus Ventures. What do these two do and how do they interact with each other?
Well, maybe I should tell you a little bit about my background. I was born and raised in Turkey from an Anatolian family. And then my father wanted to take over the family business. I did that for 2 years. And then I said, I want to know more about the world. And then I went to get my MBA for investment management in the States and then ended up staying and working on Wall Street. And managing hedge funds. And when I returned, I had to return because I'm the oldest child, and that's what happens when you're the oldest child in Turkey. I returned with also willing to lead the family business as well. So I went into the automotive sector. So it's an industrial sector, it's a legacy business. And then I started getting involved. How do you take a legacy business and make it new and technological? So started investing in other companies, building joint ventures. And then through that, I saw that the legacy companies don't really have these vehicles to make them new again. And I started building them. And I built one of the first corporate VC funds in Turkey in 2016. So it was from automotive parts, how can we become more technological? And then we chose mobility and the micro-mobility areas to invest in. That corporate VC became one of the first investors of ChargePoint in the US, several very good companies in Turkey who we have now exited. But also I realized corporate VC is a very good entry to transformation, but it has its caveats as well. And then I wanted to build another vehicle, which is Fark Labs from now on, and that is completely independent of the mothership, like a free entrepreneurial company, which it is. Now we invest, we grow the companies, and we also serve other companies, other legacy companies who like to do that with us. And kind of like building a future innovation portfolio. And whoever wants to use it could be a municipality, it could be a country, it could be a corporation. We work with them. And we don't only work with mobility anymore. So we do materials, we do new energy resources. I call it building a better future together. So whatever technology that makes a better future, we invest in it.
It seems to me, and this may be because you are the oldest child in the family, but that there's also a social aspect of the work that you do. So you're not only interested in making investment and seeing the returns, but you also there's a spirit behind that work. I want to ask you about the social value of these initiatives. If we were to leave out the money side of it, what do these initiatives provide for the social side of this sector?
Well, that's a great question. I think, like in many countries, family businesses make up most of the economy, and so is in Turkey. And I'm really now involved with other family businesses other than mine. And they're, of course, making the business, making products, selling them and making money. It's important for continuity. But family businesses are also always involved in creating much more than that. And my father always told us that our mission as a family would be wherever we go, we make that place better. So through art, through impact, through social additions. And that's how I carried what I carried with me to Fark Labs, to my own company, actually, to make the world a better place. So wherever you do. And that's very important. And after a while, when you are a successful entrepreneur, and maybe it is also the difference between a male and a female investor. So return on investment, the definition of return on investment is very different to me. So sometimes you do some things to get a return on people. So you have to invest in talent, and maybe you don't directly make money out of it, but you gain so much more, or by helping them also they create an impact. So it is social capital that's very important. And of course, money is a very important aspect of it. In Arya, we also say money has no gender. So it is both, everybody should have access to it, but you can use it for so many good things. And when there are more female investors also, they would like to use it for much more things than their own needs and to create an impact. So to me, what makes what I'm doing so much fun is that with the success I have, I can change and transform and support many people who also have dreams for a better future.
And I guess that I would like to say that reflects your self-confidence as well, because you're confident in what you've done and your ability to be able to pass that on to other people. In one of your pieces, and I quote, you said, "Türkiye is a good place to start." Can you elaborate on who you mean?
Yes.
This for?
Because I really believe in it, I think. I've been around the world, States, Germany. I built factories in many developing countries. And I'm an investor, and investors are geography agnostic, so am I. So investors go where the value is. And I have some investments in the States and around, but these are also cyclical. And Turkey, at the moment, with its human resource in technology, but also the good valuations, presents such an opportunity for an investor. So I thought investing in Turkey, starting here, and then helping these companies to become global companies would be the best way of helping them and also create the better returns. And that's why it is a very good place to start, because you can work if you have the right knowledge of the ecosystem. And Fark Labs and the other ecosystem building companies and catalysts are also important to get people, acquainted with that. It is actually quite small. People know each other. You can navigate. Things are not so hard, especially when you have a Turkish co-founder. And so you can get a project up and running with a minuscule amount of the money that you would need to have in a European or in a more developing country. And things go fast. So pre-seed, seed is very good. Series A is a bit problematic, and that's where companies need to globalize, because globalization is the key to having universal companies. And that's why I like it, because when you know the other side of the ocean and this side of the ocean, and you have the ability to combine everything together, why not? I like the game Minecraft. So it's like you build little worlds around and then you bring them together. It's kind of like that. And Turkey represents that opportunity to me.
And you've spoken about the advantages of starting in Türkiye. When trying to persuade a foreign investor to enter the Turkish market, they might have stereotypes about the country, they may have some fears about entering. How do you pitch Türkiye as a place to start?
Well, I think ourselves as people should be the best example of it. Or they have some Turkish friends who have been running good businesses. Because once you know those people, you will know that that geography is capable of producing brilliant people. Country risk, yes, these are very generic bottlenecks that is kind of valid for each country, actually. And it's not only for emerging countries, but also developing countries. They have other risks. So that's fine. But if you're investing in venture capital, and these are already high risk, high return places. And if you're confident in that environment, in your own sandbox, so they become the safest environments. I usually like to have that relationship with that person and also for them get to know the good examples of Turkey. And also your track record, of course, because like money has no gender, money also has no country and nationality. So if you can show them good results in the returns, I think good investors are capable of taking a lot of calculated risks.
Brilliant. Now, coming on to our last question, Ahu, you're very much vested in infrastructure and the development of modes of transportation. And obviously this is something that you inherited, from your family business. So you're very much interested in that. And it can't be denied that Turkey has shown immense growth in this sector, maybe more than any other sector in the past decade or so. And in fact, according to the latest figures from the Investment Office, 1.7 trillion Turkish lira has been made in transportation, logistics and communications infrastructure. And obviously the Istanbul Grand Airport, which has now surpassed London's Heathrow in terms of Europe's busiest airport. How do you think these developments and working in this field yourself has affected Turkey's integration into the global value chains?
Well, like you said, the contribution is enormous. For me, for example, coming from the automotive sector, it is the driving industry in Turkey. And we are also the main supplier of the European automotive industry from Turkey. So all of Europe's buses are produced in Turkey. We produce more than 1.5 million vehicles here, passenger vehicles and altogether. So it is a very important ally for Europe. I also wanted to win as an investor or an entrepreneur. You first start where your strengths lie. And that was where my strengths lied. I knew that sector, but it evolved because everything is evolving in the world. So the electrical vehicles came, but now the electric bikes are here, the scooters. So the way people move from one place to another is moving. Also, sustainability of this movement is being questioned. So you need newer materials. So we are now investing also into new material technologies, in addition to new energy resources, because when you're doing the automotive, you cannot say, okay, I'm going to be out of the battery supply chain, or I'm not going to look at hydrogen. So we're looking into these technologies as well. And I also particularly like resilience technologies, kind of for all these earthquakes and the climate change is bringing so many problems to us. We need technological, agile startups and companies who are working on these problems, because they will solve these problems much faster, better, and cheaper than bigger companies. So I'm really excited about that. Turns out we're not the only one who think like that. Now I have an office, Fark Labs opened an office in Michigan, for example, because the American automotive industry also has the same problem. American industrials also have the same problems, and they need to collaborate with these new companies. And whatever we're doing, we're also trying to do global. So I really like the bridging these things, the activities that comes from one, and then you hook it up with the other. AI is immensely used in the transportation sector. So transportation is a better generalization than automotive, I would say now. And there's so much to discover. And I'm very excited because when you see investment as a way of discovering things become much more fun. And investment is also a way of discovering countries. So I have now investments in more than maybe 20 countries. And all my investment is a way for me to get to know that country better, to know the entrepreneurs of that country better. And also it enables me to bring them together when there is a need. So I would also pitch Turkey like that, because in that sense, Turkey is a great country to discover with young people who are able, capable and motivated, good tax structure for the startup industry and technology, very good R&D laws, incentives. So there are many things to consider. But in order to discover all that, you need to start playing. And it's a very good place to start playing.
Ahu, thank you for being with us here today. It was a pleasure listening to you. And I look forward to keeping up with what you're going to do next. Thank you.
I thank you for having this opportunity. And I hope more people will be motivated after this to come and play with us in Turkey.
In today's episode with Ahu, we spoke about female entrepreneurship, especially Arya Women investment platform, and how it provides a network for female entrepreneurs globally. All our initiatives, including Fark Labs and F+ Ventures, are driven to give back to entrepreneurs who want to succeed in the field and has immense social value. You can find our podcast on all streaming platforms, and for more updates and information, follow Invest in Turkey on social media. Stay tuned for more episodes where we'll be talking more about investment in Turkey.